Joining us now is OjyOkpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Jinx.
Good morning, Dr. Abati. How's your weekend?
Morning, yeah.
Well,
excellent. It was a great weekend for all of us at
Yes,
Arise. Good morning, Ayo.
Good morning,
And
Oji.
thank you again for holding down what's trending. I don't know if I've thanked you
pleasure.
enough. I'll keep thanking you for the entire week.
Thank you so
Well, all right. Good morning, Rufai. How are you?
And thank you again for Friday.
Oh, yeah, as always.
You did something great. Bless you, my dear. God will continue to bless you and make...
And bless all of our Arise News. Well, all right. Good morning to you, viewers. Here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe. In Sudan, an 18-story oil firm skyscraper, the iconic Greater Nile Petroleum Operating Company Tower, one of the most recognizable landmarks in the country's capital, Khartoum, was engulfed in flames on Sunday as clashes between the Sudanese armed forces and rival paramilitary forces entered its sixth month. The fighting, which broke out on April 15, has forced over 1 million people to flee the country. In Mali, the country's military leaders, alongside those of Burkina Faso and Niger, over the weekend signed a mutual defense pact to counter the economic community of West African states. The announcement was made in the country's capital, Bamako. The countries promised to come to each other's aid in case of any rebellion or external aggression. In Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Sunday departed Abuja for the United States to attend the 78th United Nations General Assembly. It will be the president's first on-ground meeting since he was sworn in as president in May 2023. Tinubu is expected to hold bilateral meetings with various world leaders, including U.S. President Joe Biden and Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission, on the sidelines of the summit. Then, a school teacher, John Abbott, from Akwa Ibom State, over the weekend reportedly broke the current 124-hour Guinness World Records for the longest marathon reading aloud by an individual, surpassing the world record set by Risabi Isakov of Turkey. Abbott is now setting a new record of 145 hours of non-stop reading aloud. Honor sports. World's fastest female hurdler, Tobiloba Amushon, on Sunday won the women's 100 meters hurdles at the Diamond League Finals in Eugene, Oregon. The 25-year-old athlete clinched the trophy after dipping 12.33 seconds to successfully claim her third consecutive Diamond League title.
12:33, Toby Amuzan taking it.
And the winner is
Finally, the Arise News Channel on Sunday was awarded the prestigious title of the most engaging television station on social media. The recognition is a testament to the network's commitment to bringing quality content and fostering a strong connection with viewers. Arise News' head of digital, Demola Ojo, received the award on behalf of the news channel.
Thank you, social media. This is recognition for the great work everybody at Arise is doing. We're a team, we came together. Yes, the editors, the anchors, everybody, producers, engineers, and the social media managers. It's a big team, and it's everybody's win. And especially the man of vision, that's Prince Olusegun who inspires us to, report facts without fear of failure. Thank you very much. And to all our supporters, thank you. Give me a lot of voice.
To all our supporters. Congratulations, Arise. Congratulations, Demola Ojo, the head of digital team. Congratulations, social media. Dr. Abati, please show us the award. Show us. I know you had done that earlier, but let's have it. Let's have it. Congratulations, Arise News. Well done to you guys. Over the weekend, we scored this amazing feat.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, let's begin. Rufai just kissed the award as always. All right then. Well, let's begin what's trending. Nigeria's former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, over the weekend raised eyebrows amongst many Nigerians, including the Yoruba Council Worldwide, after he ordered traditional rulers to get up from their seats and greet him and the governor of Oyo State, Governor Seyi Makinde, at a project inauguration in Iseyin. During the inauguration ceremony, Obasanjo expressed dismay at what he described as Monarchs' disrespect and disregard for the office of the governor as they remained seated while he and the governor were being introduced. Obasanjo told Monarchs that the Yoruba culture has regard for both age and position, adding that the position and authority of a governor or a president at any event supersedes that of any traditional ruler in attendance. Let's take a look before we come back for some reactions.
Ibi tí gómìnà bá wà tàbí president bá wà kò sí ọba náà ó láti dìde fún gómìnà tàbí fún president ẹ dìde ẹ jókòó.
Ayo, you know, the Yoruba Council has called this action sacrilegious. They are asking for an apology. Let me take some more tweets. This is from Baron, who wrote, I strongly believe the instruction was for the kings to stand and greet the governor. OBJ stated that the Yorubas respect two things amongst others. 1, age. 2, position and status. OBJ also stated that the governor is more powerful than any king. Well, Kayode wrote, Obasanjo is not defending Yoruba tradition here. He's defending the colonial legacy that makes kings insubordinate to elected officials, that and also the atenuje of most Yoruba traditional rulers. I can't imagine Obasanjo ordering the Obi of Onitsha, or Oba of Benin, or Awujale.
So, I mean, it's been trending, Oji, and very contentious as well, because this is quite a sacred topic, especially the way that the Yorubas, and I would say many Nigerian cultures revere their obas, even though they don't have constitutional powers, but they do have immense influence amongst their people. Let me take that from the last tweet about if he wouldn't behave like this in terms of, and that's with all due respect to the former president himself. I recall when he went to visit the Olu of Ori, just after he became Olu. President Obasanjo voluntarily, knelt before the Olu, and that iconic picture was trending as well. And so if he was willing to do that for the Olu of Ori, what was the difference here? Because he had also talked about the long history and the, the relationship he had with the father of the Olu of Ori, who's also a traditional, he's a king, as well. So it wouldn't have, I think it was the way and manner in which he had done it. Even if, as he mentioned, Yoruba people, the Yoruba culture respects age and status. He spoke to them as if he were speaking to ordinary boys or just men and almost reprimanding them. And we know just how highly the people revere their obas, and also the traditional connotations around disrespect of the crown and the king. You would notice that initially the obas seemed to be laughing when they sat down, but this oba in the third one, in the blue and white outfit, was obviously upset after he had sat down, following what had transpired. Now there have been reactions, including calls for him to apologize.
Yes.
His wife, Mrs. Taiwo Obasanjo, has written a letter apologizing, almost as if she was removing herself and her children from whatever consequences these obas have promised the former president. And others have said, just let it be. He's an elder statesman, so just allow it to go. But I think the reason why they will respond is so that it doesn't set a precedent for the denigration of traditional and historical institutions, which we respect very much and hold very highly in our nation. All
right, Dr. Bati, some people are saying it's the obas that they blame for even standing up for Obasanjo.
A number of things here. First is protocol. And that was where President Obasanjo seems to be coming from in an additional exclusive interview that he has granted on this subject. He was not asking them, the Obas, to stand up for him. He was asking them to respect Governor Seyi Makinde. And from the exclusive story that I've read this morning, he said when the governor arrived, everybody stood up. the Obas refused to stand up. When it was time for the governor to make his speech, he, Obasanjo, and other people stood up. The Obas still sat down. It was at that point, in an extended video, that he now, took over the role of the Sergeant Major of the occasion and asked the Obas to stand up and to sit down. So he said he was defending protocol, that no matter how young a governor may be, protocol shows that when the governor arrives, you stand up. Now, the other thing that people have brought up is culture and tradition. Under culture and tradition, Obas are regarded, traditional rulers are regarded as representatives of deities. They are considered sovereign deities, on earth. And for that reason, a king is venerated, a king is to be respected. And it is because of the harshness of President Obasanjo's tone that people are saying, he shouldn't speak to traditional fathers like that. That's the second part of it. The third point about this is the whole point about tradition versus modernity. Okay, traditionally, Obas are supposed to be, worshipped and all of that. But the situation has changed. Since colonialism, since the military took over, Obas are regarded as, appointees of the state government. They collect salaries from state government. So as far as constituted authorities are concerned, traditional rulers are no better than people working in the Ministry of Chieftaincy and Local Government Affairs.
This is so wrong.
Quickly, this is not the first time all of this will happen. In 1953, Chief Bode Thomas, when he became the chairman of the Oyo Council, Legislative Council, he went for a meeting and Obas were there. Everybody stood up to welcome him. But at that time, Oba Adeniro Adeyemi II, Alaafin of Oyo, refused to stand up. He sat down. So Chief Bode Thomas reportedly turned towards him and asked him, who the hell are you? Who is this person? Who is sitting down when, the chairman of the council has arrived? Okay, the rest of the story is well known to those who know the details. In 1957, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, in the Western House of Chiefs, entered, right? All the traditional rulers stood up because, the big man had arrived. But one of the kings refused to stand up. And that was Oba Ademuwagun Adeshida II, the Deji of Akure. So, reportedly, Awolowo was annoyed. And he asked him, he said, who are you? Can't you see that I just entered? You are sitting down. And that one stood up and said, well, I'm the Deji of Akure, Adeshida II. And that you and I studied law in England. Look at the people sitting down here, Oba Kenzwa, all these elderly kings. So, because you are premier, so we should all stand up for you. And that particular Deji of Akure walked out on Chief Obafemi Awolowo. But we understand the matter was settled later with the intervention of the inimitable Chief Nnamdi, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. So in this particular case, Oluwo of Iwo has asked Chief Obasanjo to apologize. Well, he's not likely to apologize, but I'm sure they will find accommodation. But it's just a lesson about how the traditional institution has been lowered in modern times.
And that is my
a matter
point.
that is well dramatized in Wole Soyinka's Kongi's Harvest.
Yes, and that is my point. Should traditional rulers be degraded this way? And what gives the presidents and governors powers over them in this manner? What is it? Is it the Constitution?
They pay their salaries.
I mean, it's really wrong. I mean, why should our kings be standing up for just public officers? Rufai, quickly, so we can...
So, there are two sides to it. Yes, we've heard the argument about protocol and all of that by President Obasanjo and all of that. Two things. One, the first thing I'll say is we shouldn't denigrate our traditional institution.
No.
But our traditional institution too should not denigrate itself. Because in all of this, we know the antecedents. How did it start? It started when the British colonialists came in. When the traditional institution was fighting with itself, Kosoko and Akitoye, and the British came to settle about the HMS Prometheus in the late 1800s, and they took over Lagos, started bringing in their authority and all of that. And we know that story as it continues. But what I'm also saying is, They should not denigrate. And we also know that the process of bringing traditional rulers have been politicized.
Yeah.
So most of these political heads, they reign very strongly, writ large over this traditional ruler because they are the ones that put them in sometimes. Even traditional leadership position is based on political patronage now. It's people that are close to you, you put there as kings. And we have history replete with people not even respecting traditional ruler. You remember the case of Oni of Ife? And the current president, that handshake. So there are many cases that are bound. But also we've had cases of allegations against traditional rulers that take all sorts of substances and do the likes. So the traditional rulers too should please protect the institution, and we do not support anything against the traditional rulers, any denigration or disrespect, but they should protect the institution. We've heard about scandals of traditional rulers and things like that. So they should also carry themselves with that embodiment that they are the Igbakeji Orisha.
Well,
what it means is they are second in command to the gods of the land. But please, both parties should calm things that we should appease both parties. I wanted to say more. You will take the next story.
Well, let's take another story. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu last week nominated Yemi Cardoso as the new governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Cardoso's nomination comes 3 months after Godwin Emefiele was suspended as governor of the Apex Bank. The 66-year-old banker was born to parents who were descendants of Brazilian returnees and comes from a prominent family on Lagos Island. His father, Felix Bankole Cardoso, was the first indigenous accountant general of Nigeria in 1963 and the first indigenous vice chairman and managing director of Barclays Bank of Nigeria. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has had a long history with Cardoso. When Tinubu was the governor of Lagos State from 1999 to 2007, he appointed Cardoso as commissioner of Nigeria's first standalone Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget. Well, in the video now making the rounds on social media, Tinubu hinted during the electioneering campaigns that he would like Cardoso to be on his economic team if he became president.
We have to look at fiscal policy and separate that from monetary policy. We have to get an headmaster like Cardoso. Where is he? You see there? So don't run away. To be persistent, you can't pass a sheet of paper through him unless you have a budget head for him. Then there's no head. Then we name him headmaster. The job he did for Lagos State, with him, Wale Edun and others, and Dele Alake, Oshia, was great. I was not alone. I was with a great team, unbreakable team.
Well, I guess he has his unbreakable team at this point. We have Dele Alake now on his team. Now we have Cardoso. But I mean, I guess you guys discussed it earlier. I hope that, the policies of the CBN or the reforms will take shape. Well, in another development, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 election, Peter Obi, was in Bangladesh over the weekend to attend the global conference organized by the government of Bangladesh in conjunction with the Commonwealth Enterprise and Investment Council in Dhaka. On the sidelines of the conference, Obi met with Prime Minister of the country, Sheikh Hasina, and congratulated her as well as her team for what they have been able to achieve in their nation with the support of SMEs in the last 15 years. While delivering his remarks at the summit, Obi stated, among other salient points, that SMEs in Commonwealth countries are key to global economic growth and rapid expansion.
I must say that credits to SMEs in Bangladesh have been quite impressive, though not what it should be. But in other countries, like in Nigeria and Africa, they need to do more. There needs to be a dedicated percentage of the overall country credit lending that should go to SMEs, being that this is the engine in which those countries can grow and be able to build sustainable development and improve their economy.
All right, Rufai, over to you.
All right, a couple of things about those two stories. I mean, President Tinubu finally got his team. It's time for them to get out to work. He's got Yemi Cardoso in there. He's got Wale Edo. It's just time to get out to work and fix the economy of this country as much as we can, because we have a lot of problems. Inflation is high. Everything is at an all-time low for Nigeria. Real quickly, as regards to Obi Bangladesh, very well said. He's constantly touted Bangladesh as a model for SME, and we can't absolve the fact that it's not today we've been talking about Bangladesh as a model for SME. Don't forget, Ibrahim Babangida, adapted the model of Bangladesh, the Grameen Bank set up by Mohammed Yunus many years ago, to set up something called People's Bank in Nigeria, that was headed by the likes of Maria Shokanu and Taishulari of blessed memory is dead. So that's to show you that we've always looked at Bangladesh as a model. And it's gone there, said, 40% of their GDP is pretty much for small business. You can see the revolutionary work done by, Sheikh Hashina, the daughter of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman of Bangladesh there. And it's just gone there to talk about this in summit and conclude, as regards many ideas that we can adapt here. But we must be able to help our SMEs here.
Well, it's nice to see Peter Obi go around and, continue to talk on how to make Nigeria better. Well, before we take our final story, let's pull up this cartoon depiction of the presidential spokesman, Ajuri Ngelale, with the immediate past Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, in a Lion King poster made by Federation_now in the wake of reports by an anonymous official of the United Arab Emirates contradicting claims made last week by the presidential spokesman that the UAE had lifted the visa ban imposed on Nigerians. Well, the cable news network CNN had reported the statement by the UAE official who said that the visa ban on Nigerians remains in effect. Well, let's take a quick tweet from Daniel Bola, who wrote, "Brace up, people. The coming days and months, you may need to fact-check and verify every statement issued by the presidency and filter it in your decision-making in business or generally in life, because they campaign in poetry and are unfortunately governing with propaganda." I'm sorry, well, he wrote propaganda. I'm reading. That is Daniel Boala. Well, we did see that story trending. But I mean, it's still unconfirmed. I believe our jury released a statement after this.
There was celebration.
This news,
We even posted a video during business segment about companies rejoicing at the fact that the federal government. I mean, how authentic is source more can you get? So you can't say that your source was faulted. The federal government itself released a statement that the ban was off with immediate effect. And next thing we're hearing is that the implementation is faulty because it's not happening. And now a UAE source is saying that it's not happening. That's they have questions to answer. I think it's quite embarrassing.
All right, then. We'll take our final story. In Ondo State, the Ondo State Women Affairs Commissioner, Olubunmi Ausha Dahun, was attacked over the weekend during the distribution of palliatives to cushion the effects of the removal of fuel subsidy. The commissioner was said to have been attacked by a man identified as Olumide Awolumate, who is the ward chairman of the All Progressives Congress in the council area, following the allegations that the exercise was shrouded in secrecy by government officials. Oh, this is horrible. I don't know. I mean, I was very upset earlier. We were talking about all these palliatives. We saw one in Kwara State. We saw one also in Ibadan, and people were fighting. But this is unacceptable, Dr. Abati. I mean, the guy was saying that, the woman's son attacked him first, and that's why he attacked the woman. I don't know.
There's no justification for any kind of violence or assault. That gentleman, world chairman, Kagbi, of the APC, attacking anybody at all, whether he's a commissioner or anybody, is not acceptable. Number two, I was stressing the correct pronunciation of the man's name.
Yes.
Awolumate.
Yes.
It means a man who enters a community with dignity. But
what kind of dignity
is undignified, it is shameless, and it's condemnable. The commissioner has been taken to hospital. I hope she will file charges, press charges, and insist on our fundamental rights. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. I'd like to thank you all for your great analysis, as always, on What's Trending. Well, that's all I have for you on What's Trending today. I'll see you all tomorrow.